Right. Good evening, good evening, Sip and Chat crew. It is Friday night at 8, and we are coming to you on time, live and popping in the room. And we are excited this evening, this Friday night, coming to you talking about relationships as we always do. And we always bring a different spin that you don't necessarily know how we gonna come at you with what we bring in. So before we get jumping in, we need to see who's sipping and who's chatting and just checking in so you can know what type of time we on, maybe. Maybe. So I'm gonna start with Doc. How you living, Doc? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How is everybody?
We good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good. Trying to stay awake. Trying to.
Hilarious.
Understood. I think our topic is gonna keep you awake.
I hope so. I hope so. And I'm trying to stay alert. So I'm just drinking some lemon water.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had some real disobedient dinner. So, this will help me get it down. Help me get it down.
Is it disobedient because Daryl, as the fitness person, wouldn't agree to it?
Yeah. Daryl wouldn't agree.
He wouldn't agree.
No.
He wouldn't agree.
Counting calories.
Just count. Don't worry about
Daryl be on here trying to shame me.
Oh goodness.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Just don't eat it again.
We don't know. We haven't experienced that version of you, Daryl, so we're not sure.
No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. Not me.
And Camp is on this side of the world with us, so we gotta, give her an early shout out because she on this side of the world. How you doing, Camp?
I'm doing good.
You sure? You look a little sleepy.
Nah, I'm just a little hungry, but I'm okay.
Is it hungry or hangry?
No, hungry, not hangry. I've been eating extra healthy, and so yeah, I don't have the extra Dr. Pepper or extra anything else going on. Just I did make some apple juice today though.
Oh, you made it? Nice.
Yes, I made juice. So I did make some juice for the top.
Okay.
Yeah, I drank some, and I was like, That's all I'm gonna say.
Understood. And we got Miss Payne in the comments. We got Miss Payne and Miss Ronnie in the comment, Ronika in the comments. So we see y'all rocking it out with us. Hey, thank y'all for joining and rocking it out with us. And then none other with the fitness in the back. Daryl, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing?
Good. I got my coffee and I got some juice. Okay. I should say it's special coffee. I would be not authentic if I didn't say it wasn't special. Yeah, I wouldn't be authentic. Because I need to say
a little something.
A little something for the sips in the chats. So tonight we are coming at you talking about, are you ready for relationships and the stages of getting to know your partner gradually, or are you skipping because the quarantine is in the way? And so before we jump in, we have this week and next week where we're going to talk about these different stages because it's a variation in numbers. Some things say 5 weeks, 5 stages, some things say 4 stages, some things say 7 stages. Oh, I'm echoing somewhere. Some things, have different variations, but we're going to go with the variation. You could drop whatever your comments are in the chat, and then we're going to take a holiday break. So we got to jump in and get it in and love up on our sips in our chat. So what you got? Somebody got some Grand Marnier going on in the comments.
Okay,
that's what they got.
Yes. All right.
Where we gonna start, Doc?
I guess we can start, since we told people we were going to be talking about 5 stages.
Right.
We can start with like a general outline of what the 5 stages are.
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So what are the
All
5
right.
stages?
Okay. So and like Mary said, we have our own little twist on this. But in general, there's a honeymoon stage. There's a stage where you're getting to know each other and learning to accept each other's differences. There's an exploration stage where you start exploring yourself as an individual again, but also in harmony with your relationship.
Okay.
There's a commitment stage where you are making that commitment to your partner and you have a healthy balance of who you are and who your partner is and what the relationship is.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that comfort stage, and some people call it a bliss stage, but there's that stage where you have learned each other, you're comfortable, you can talk things through, you can have arguments and be okay with each other, you're open, you're honest, and able to really enjoy the relationship. So that's kind of like a general, if you Google it, you'll see different names for
Okay.
each of the
Bye-bye.
stages. But that's kind of how most relationships work.
Definitely. And then it's different, depending on your stage as a couple too, or your stage and your partnership, however it is that you identify in regards to how it is that you're moving forward with your partner. So it's like you have to also know how it actually works for you moving forward, because you could be in the honeymoon stage for a while, or you could really be in the merging, the doubt, because as life happens, you have different things that kind of interrupt your process. Like a new baby, like a new house, like a new job. Like every time there's something new
In-laws.
that's introduced, would you say, Camp?
In-laws.
In-laws.
Blue.
In-laws trying to have their role.
You may cycle through the stage.
Or a new pet. Oh my gosh. That changes the game. Yeah.
And I think that people don't pay attention to that. Like they think, oh, well, yeah, I'm going to get a new pet.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to get a new car, or I'm going to get a new job. This is helping to enhance the family or the relationship in some way. But they don't think about how that enhances, they don't think about how that enhances the interconnectedness of the functioning of how it is that we communicate, how we don't communicate, how we get frustrated, and all of these different things.
It also enhances responsibilities.
It does.
Of course.
Sarah, you look like you on the edge. Like, what you got?
Oh no, I'm just waiting. I'm seeing what else can interfere or change or distract you. I was thinking a new boo.
Of course, a new boo going to interrupt your relationship.
I mean, it's going to interrupt
Or
it.
a side boo. That's what you meant to say.
And sometimes that get in the way. Sometimes it does get in the way.
It can be.
It made me think about the posters in the group, the relationship flow group of people are not familiar with what group we're talking about. Where the guy said he was flying somewhere and now he all chained down to the bed and can't go nowhere. She got the keys and the double locks on the bed, and Daryl talking about he gonna figure out a way to swim back home.
I mean, unless that's part of the dynamic from the door where, I'm going to be looking for somebody to join us. So are you on board with that?
Or a new baby mama. Or a baby daddy.
Yeah, that definitely.
But that's the initial dynamic that people are open to talking about, of a new person joining us. And now they have enhanced the conversation on who's going to join the relationship. They really have consent on talking about either one, but people is joining the relationship.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
Got this random hair in my face.
What do people think are some of the characteristics of the beginning, the honeymoon phase?
Lust.
I'm sorry. Are we talking about just in general, or are we talking about now during this?
It could be in general. It could be both.
Yeah, it could be both. We can talk
Right.
about it in general, and we can talk about how that may change or not change because of this, because of
Okay.
the pandemic.
Gotcha.
You saw somebody booty clap.
Huh? What happened?
That could be. That could lead to the beginnings of honeymoon phase. I'm just saying. People be in relationships for different reasons.
Well, that's right. In the beginning, whatever
In the
attracted your
beginning,
attention. Yeah,
very
whatever
beginning.
attracted your attention. It might have been that
Right.
booty clap. Like, whoa, hello.
Yeah, like oh,
Was that applause for me? Was that applause for me?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's real. So
That is.
whatever attracts you to them, it could be in the booty clapping or
the person smile.
We say
Yes.
you don't know what angle we coming at because you never know what any
Right.
of us is gonna say at any time.
Or they like the person smile.
yes, or the corny joke.
Yeah,
Something like that.
maybe that too.
May spark the conversation.
Right.
So
I think one of the characteristics is you can't get enough of the person. Like you want to see them all the time, you want to talk to them all the time, you want to be around them all the time.
yeah, that's until you get it.
Right. That's it.
Let's be honest. That's until you
Those
get it.
special crackers.
Then once I get it, then I'm gonna figure out if I want to see you some more and be around you. Like,
But the first time, the chemistry is probably still trying to develop itself, and it might not be all the way to get it that you think, but it might have some potential on to get it.
Well, I think the problem, is, I think that there's such a getting it is such a prize, right? It's a prize.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the thing that we're trying to obtain. Sometimes, and even if we're not speaking, that's what we're trying to obtain. So sometimes once you get it, you won the game. It's not about how good or whatever the case may be. Sometimes I know it's you won the game. So now what? I succeeded the mission. Now what? Now
we're gonna talk over these brownies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What now? So that's sometimes the.
But what if it's everything you ever wished for?
Huh? What? First time?
What if it was the best crackers you ever had?
I don't know. I don't believe in unicorns. So.
I'm just saying, up to that date, it could be the best crackers that you ever had. So then, therefore.
Well, see, this I guess where we differ, because crackers.
I mean, you're stuttering now, though.
No, crackers are crackers, right?
No, crackers ain't crackers.
Wait, I'm not done. I might be the best they ever had because I'm putting on a show. So it's they're getting the experience.
They're getting the experience.
You having an experience that you haven't in your DM.
Of me, get an experience of me.
Oh, the experience of their okay.
They're welcome.
Like y'all know me in terms of like the beginning stages. That's kind of off the table with me. If you want to hang out with me or get to know me, it's just me. So if it turns into something, it does. If it doesn't, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
So what's it look like in the beginning? I mean, it's dates,
making butterflies.
Talking. What you say, Camp? I'm sorry.
I said you might get butterflies in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. And I think that, and then most time in the beginning when you meet somebody, that's kind of what it is anyway. If you kind of meet somebody, I mean, I met them, I'm excited.
That's funny.
First of all, I ain't eating no crackers anyway.
Oh, you eating groceries?
I'm not eating crackers.
You eating groceries?
Now, you're wrong.
Say that.
See on the sidelines, I ain't eating no crackers.
That was funny.
So I guess in the beginning, I think it's exciting because it's the beginning. It's the what to look forward to. So most time when you meet a person, I think it's very exciting. For me, most times I met a girl, whatever we connected, I'm like, okay, I want to call her, I want to talk to her, in the beginning, and see where it can go. Most time you're excited in the beginning. It's just then as you learn more about the person, you'll decide whether or not
it's going somewhere.
This is what you want, and it's funny. I think the last person I was talking to, everything was good for like 3 months, and it was like one conversation. It was like, whoa, that was it. You know, found
But
out
that would
something.
be building that chemistry and that connection and that interest and that draw back and forth in regards to if it in fact this is the partner for you.
Yes, I mean that's when you're auditioning, you're trying to find out if this person you're auditioning an interview.
Okay. Well, how long do you have to audition for this?
It's different for different people because I mean I had people where I hit it off from the rip, we were Bonnie and Clyde, like this is awesome. And some people it took might have took a lot longer, and it developed over time. I remember one person we worked together for almost 2 years. We were in the same room. We talked every day, and eventually it just happened. It wasn't something that we planned, but we learned so much about each other. We did kind of like it was our personalities that really clicked.
So the crackers and the groceries just happened.
Yes, it wasn't a, and it's funny because it wasn't really a physical attraction, but I was attracted to who she was, her personality, and I was a little, and I told her that, and I didn't realize what I was saying, I guess, because I was like, you know what, it's great because I really like who you are. I'm not really attracted to you, but I really like you for who. And she was really upset, and I didn't understand for a long time why she was upset. Because I'm being honest, but all that to say that we connected, and it was a great connection we had. But it was built over time. Again, I think almost like a year and a half before we really figured out we kind of like each other. Like we're similar. We have a lot in common. It was a great relationship for a little while.
Nice.
I also think of the honeymoon stage is when you make up those little names. Hey, boo. Hey, cookie. Or
names.
You make up those little names, and you're all romantic, and you're really putting your best foot forward. So yeah.
Is the honeymoon stage and that beginning when you're getting to know them, are they kind of the same?
Because it's like that merge, like you're the way in which you guys will interconnect and interrelate with each other. It's not so much the honeymoon stage. It's probably, we've heard it before, where you just meeting that person, which it is like you're initially meeting them, but it's also the getting to know how it is, like their cues, the things they like, the things you like, what it is that's going to make us sustain, if it is that we're going to sustain each other and balance off of each other. But it's a lot. Like it's not just the first 3 weeks or the first 3 months. Yeah, it doesn't end. Like it's an ever evolving.
Getting to know begins. It's kind of crosses.
It's like that consuming of joy and building passion, like with someone that because it kind of builds up to hope wherever that passionate, intimate moment, like evolves from. Like before you could say that this is like your perfect match or your perfect groceries and crackers.
And I was reading something about the dark side of the honeymoon phase.
Now what's that? What's the dark side?
Because the honeymoon phase, some couples actually don't get past it. That, I think the dark side, as they explained it, is when you start doing your own thing and you're not on the phone 24 hours falling asleep, and you might go to work instead of hooking in, and your partner starts to think, well, do they still love me? They do still love you, but now we're moving into a mature phase of our relationship.
Right.
But some people can't take the idea of that honeymoon phase ending, because to them it's ending. But in reality, the relationship is growing.
Really? Right.
But
that's what I've been running into lately. A lot of people who just love the honeymoon phase. Once the relationship starts, they end.
Right.
When it comes to you now having to make decisions about things, or that relationship really flourishing, and it's not just the the fun part where you're just hanging out and it's little loosey goosey. They don't like that, and they'll jump to relationship. They love that first 3 or 4 months.
Yes.
Like that's their hit. That 3 or 4 months, they love it. And
when you come across somebody that's been married 7 times, they're likely one of those people that love that honeymoon phase.
Or even
Right.
even the person who, you know, I only dated, my longest relationship was 5 months.
Right.
What? 5 months? That
Right.
means
What
you never
happens
got
in
into a
that 3 to
relationship.
5 months, like period?
5 months is
And if they
yeah.
can't see it,
Mm-hmm.
then that's
Mm-hmm.
a red flag.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a red flag, but it's like it's like a
Hey, Amber.
cocktail of hormones that they're only able to go to that glass wall, and then that's it.
They
Like they're
done.
not able to like really see themselves beyond that particular point. Or, I mean, you know, if we were to bring a whole therapeutic part into this particular moment, like it's something that happens for them that they haven't resolved, and they're not willing to take that journey to figure out what that is. So it's like they'll continue to live that roller coaster up until that point, and then they be like, okay, yep, it's time to go get somebody new because I'm not willing to go that far. And
Absolutely.
Right.
and somebody may be
But
willing
and
to grow with them beyond that point, but
yeah,
they like, yep, I ain't trying to go that far.
and they'll make all kinds of excuses. This
Absolutely.
relationship's not working. I don't like the way he said "babe" yesterday.
So,
I,
but you know what? I don't, and
That's so
it's
true.
not even a really. I don't think it's really an excuse. I mean, I think they really feel
well,
like
yeah.
it changed. It changed because it's not going from that fun. Oh, we hanging out. It's going to be a little bit more serious. So, like, say
That's
you're
why you
not.
gotta pay a bill.
Yeah, you can't stay up every night for a year, all night on the phone talking. Like we have to go to sleep sometime. And I think they really feel like the change to them
Mhm.
feels like the other person is withdrawing from them because they're not giving the same energy. But it's not. They're not. It's just changing into, like I said, a more mature type of relationship.
Yes.
Mhm.
Most that.
Yes. Yes.
I was right in becoming addicted to the partnership,
I,
like at
Uh,
that stage.
yes, at that
mm,
stage, that's where they're at.
mm-hmm. Yes.
And like I said, that's a lot of. And I think that goes with that microwave society. Everybody wants everything fast. That's why relationships start fast, end fast. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in
Crash and
three,
burn.
yeah, in 3 4 months they had a whole relationship. You know,
Even if some people even be engaged.
But they even do this, like when we talk about relationships as far as intimate towards someone that they care about, but this also happens in the workplace too. You know, they're like, okay, well, I did so great at this job up until this particular point, and then all of a sudden, you know, I don't know what happened. The boss doesn't like me anymore. And it's not so much that the boss, your productivity changed. Like you are no longer motivated to take on a new project or to take on, you know, a new task because you have met your optimal thing that you're looking for, and you're not able to like kind of mold yourself or present yourself in a better way. Your representative has been there with the stilettos, and now you want to wear the flats.
mm,
I always got to go back there. Sorry.
It's better to go bottoms up than top down
And Daryl talked
at
about the
times.
microwave society. I think some of this too comes from what we see on the movies, the romantic movies,
Yes.
the romantic
movies. What's a movie?
movies. I know, right? The movies.
Like how to lose a guy in
What
10
they
days.
filter to us of what a relationship should look like,
Right.
you know? And that honeymoon phase is in the movies is just so exciting.
Or I mean,
You're
it comes
running
from
to the
Disney.
But
airport.
so
It starts at
unrealistic. Like, oh
Disney.
my
It
God,
starts
he
at
met me here, or right.
it starts at Disney. You know,
The wind is blowing through your hair.
it's perpetuated from the
I
time
lost my
you're
shoe.
1 years old. You know, you watch
Yes.
any Disney characters, they're always meeting their prince or princess and
And
happily
the
ever
shoe match.
after. Yeah, and it's always this great story, and then people really start to that becomes like a learned innate. That becomes something inside you that you don't realize that you're looking for.
You start
Um,
planning your wedding at 12.
yeah, absolutely. It has to be this big ball where you have this pumpkin that turns into a chariot that takes you to the ball, but you got to leave at 12. Like this is what we think is going to happen, and I think a lot of people are really disillusioned to what a real relationship is because we have all these false things that we see, like I said, movies or TV show, and most of us don't even see real relationships. Even I know most of our parents, maybe didn't have the best relationship either. So there are no good role models for us to see a real relationship. So people are just going out there doing what they think it is, and not really asking for help. I bet you could ask like 100 people right now what a relationship was, you'll probably get 100 different answers.
Of course.
Of course. And because relationships are defined differently based on your value system and your belief system, like it even looks so different based off of that as well. Someone put a Harlequin romance has me jacked up. And yeah, definitely, because that Harlequin looks way different. And then if you go to I'm trying to think what's that stuff they had us reading in high school. Like that stuff was crazy. I'm not supposed to say crazy. Was special.
What was that?
You talking about the Zane books?
Oh my
The Zane
gosh, I
They
love
they
those
had you
growing
reading them
up.
in high
Well, I
school. What high
started
school
reading
you go
those
to?
like middle school.
They didn't have us reading them, but they was passed
Yeah,
It
around.
was
Oh,
passed
okay.
around.
we was reading Omar Tyree,
That's
Zane
not what I was
book.
thinking about, Daryl, but yeah, Zane was passed around. I was
It
thinking
was.
about the artist people, like that was in the English classes where we had to read and write and dissect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Well,
Shakespeare.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Shakespeare.
it's funny to think about that. Like we have both ends of the spectrum. We have like the great love stories, and then you have love and hip hop, where these people are all cheating and beating on each other and throwing
Right.
stuff at each other. Like you don't have any good representation. You have
You
one,
don't.
everything is great, and other one's like, well, it's gonna be messy. We're gonna come back, and we're gonna fight, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna go to jail. We're gonna come back. It's no real good representation. It's just everything on either side of the spectrum.
And we
Mm-hmm.
have these narratives that's pushed onto us, and we don't interrogate or challenge them to even identify if it's a match for what works for me. But because our earlier elders and even our ancestors told us that this is what it is, we try to morph it into how it works best for us. But we don't look at how it was originally originated before our
Right.
elders and our earlier ancestors even had it, because a lot of stuff that we follow was not our original intention of what it is. Like we just kind of took it because we didn't know to research or challenge things.
And I think it's the key. Like I said, you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
You see it being projected in so many different places. It got to be right, right? You know, it's on
Right.
TV, and your parents did it, and your neighbors' parents did it, and these people are doing it. This got to be right, you know.
Right.
So
And
we
if somebody
just go with it.
challenges it now, you like, oh well,
They're
that
crazy.
person must be wrong because they
Yeah,
challenging this, and my family been doing it forever.
yeah.
But it's like if I'm bringing you the facts of the missing books to the things that you take as value, like it. First of all, let's look at the fact that we got missing books. Why are there missing books to the things that you take as value?
Because they belong to the Catholic Church. I'm sorry.
But it belongs to more than just the Catholic Church. If I was even to finish your sentence, like it is Hebrews and other things too.
Yeah, you right.
I wasn't gonna go to the church, but yeah, I was just gonna say missing books.
We know what you're talking about. We knew the code.
I know.
We knew the code.
Just when you mentioned it, it's just.
We can talk about that too, but we're not. Stay on topic.
I mean, but you know, maybe in 2021, maybe in 2021.
Okay, all right.
For relationship goals, like relationship models and relationship things that we follow, like I mean, that's the core. Like that's where we learn what relationships are, and really in defining them, are we living relationships for ourselves or as they're defined to us, as opposed to learning how they can best represent
I think most people live them as they were defined until they know better.
until they know better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we only
You
do
know,
what we
just
know.
like, we know that kids do what they see.
Absolutely.
Whatever that model is the model that they're going to follow.
Not what you say.
Not what you say. No. So if you're modeling some real ratchet, dysfunctional relationship, best believe your kids are headed for the same thing.
And they do it in the
Absolutely.
schools, and then when the school call you, like, okay, I don't know where they learn that from.
So true.
He just
Man.
my son grabbed the girl butt. What? Where did he get that from?
And it's like on the other side, it's like, okay, I know as family therapists, we're like, okay, they need to see nurturing and love, but he ain't had to see that. He had to see all of that.
Right.
It's tough. But ain't nobody
Facts.
grabbing nobody's butt no more. You getting an assault charge for that.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, yeah, so it's a lot different. Ain't no little, you do that, you're gonna be kicked out of school and all type of stuff.
That's right.
They,
Zero
so you got,
tolerance. They're not
yeah,
playing.
zero. So you need to teach your kids today because they will be in trouble sitting in front of a judge for grabbing the butt. It ain't, it's a lot different these days.
About consent and asking. Definitely.
Can I grab your butt? Okay. Now I'm gonna run.
That was no more fun.
Kind of takes the fun away from it.
Right? Yeah, that's my kids at homeschool. Ain't nobody calling me. Like,
So I don't know, but where can how do people know to ask about a relationship when you don't know what you're doing is wrong, and that's a problem. A lot of people
Right.
don't know what they're doing is wrong or to ask. So how do
That's
people get
true.
to know they're doing something wrong? If you don't know you're doing anything wrong, you think you're working it out, or my mom stayed when this happened, so I'm gonna stay, or I left when you think you're doing the right thing, like you said. So how do they know? How do they get to the point where they're saying, you know what, this is wrong. I need help.
What I've seen in couples therapy is for somebody something doesn't feel good.
Okay.
And you might say, well, my mom stayed when it didn't feel good, but that's a sign for you. That's a sign for you. If it doesn't feel good, it's usually not
not
good.
good.
It's
But
usually not good.
and the trick to that is that sometimes it's a survival narrative that's happening there. That,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how the family is set up, does mom need to put a plan in place in order to figure out the exit, on how to get out of a situation, because maybe money is not readily accessible independently, or stability or sustainability is not readily independently. So she got to do some things. And then the other part is sometimes the things that feel bad feel good because of what you've been exposed to in your younger years. You're only again replicating what
But
you know.
Yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
and that's
For
about to say
sure.
the same thing. We talking about a mom making a plan to leave or whatever, but if that's not in her, we'll say in her lexicon, then she's not doing that. If she's used to seeing people stay, and this was been passed down, and they're used to accepting this, that, or the next, and that's the norm. That's what she's
Mhm.
going to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking now, like, what has to happen for people to understand that maybe what they're going through is not okay, and they need to ask for help. Because there's nothing out there really promoting you asking for help. It's more
Mm-hmm.
things today than there was,
Yeah.
but they're not. Even those things are still not at the forefront of things. That you can find them if you really look, but it's not out
Mm-hmm.
there easily accessible. So I think there has to be something to show. We have to start showing some more positive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, I think that's why Obama was great as a president. He showed a great relationship between his wife and his children. That was good for
Mm-hmm.
everybody to see. We need more things like that so people can say, like, wait, that's not how I'm being treated, or that's not how our family
Mm-hmm.
looks. Maybe we need to do something to fix it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Daryl, with that. And we need more representation of people getting help.
Yes,
I,
yes.
I know they tried it on those reality shows. I've seen it on one particular reality show where they had this doctor doing couples therapy, and I'm like, this is a mess.
Oh yeah.
Was
Some of
it
them
a real
shows.
doctor?
Where they get him from?
Was
This is
it a
a
real
mess.
doctor?
Right. I mean, and I think he's a real. I think this person is a real doctor, but from what I saw, it didn't seem very helpful.
Right.
mm,
It helped to sell ratings. That's what I was doing.
Right.
And they got to
Right.
check.
Hmm.
Yes.
they working.
A hefty
Hmm.
check to steer people wrong again. These wolves in sheep's clothing
Hmm.
gonna help you to
Hmm.
a divorce,
But I think we need some real representation of people getting help, like making it normal.
making it okay. Yes,
Yes.
yes, making it
Yeah.
okay.
And the
And I
fact
think
that
that's
there
a
are
big
some
deal.
cultural norms too that
I was
just
going to.
exist in some families that don't exist in others. And
True.
that's just the reality too, that is a human nature thing. Like, it's not to say that one particular situation is better, worse, and different than the other. It's just the reality that certain families just do things different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
And
true.
I think when you're in that beginning state, those beginning stages of the relationship, those are the things that you should be looking for and looking
Mm-hmm.
at. You know, these are the dynamics you look for. I advocate that all the time. How does this person interact with their family? If they're telling you I don't speak to nobody in my family, that's an issue.
Right, because
You
they're
need
gonna
to
not
think
talk to you at a certain part too.
Yeah.
Look,
it's,
well,
and it
listen.
could be
No,
various reasons, but it's something that you should talk about.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
I would look into it more. But again, but it all goes back to like I think it all goes back to again. People just have to learn what these things. It's easy to say from a certain point, but I think a lot of people don't know, right? And like I said, there has to be more education on what is a relationship, because in the beginning you're just feeling good. It's like a drug. You're just feeling good. Like
Yeah.
you're not worried about how they talk to their mom or their relationship. Like, oh my God, we had so fun. Dinner was great. Gold star for Marcus. Like, we're just worried about that point. you know, we're just worried about that, because you want to feel good, especially like today. Like, things are so crazy. You just want to go out and have some fun,
Right.
have some laughs, drink some apple cider. You just want to turn up, and you don't
You
want
say
to.
you just want to turn up.
You
Yeah, I
don't.
get it. Yeah.
And I think that's it's tough to try to bother yourself about worrying about all those things, which you should. But I understand people are like, man, I'm just glad to be out talking and having fun and laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to get back to some serious stuff again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's you make allowances for that, for based on what it is you're looking for. If all you're looking for is fun, then don't do any of that. Just
And
go
it's
out,
not a
just have
relationship
fun.
at that point.
Yeah,
Like if
just go
all you
have fun.
looking for is fun, that's a situationship, that's a hangout ship.
That's
We
it. Yes,
talked about
ma'am.
that. Like we talked
So
about that in our
wait a minute,
earlier
time out,
shows.
time
Yes,
out.
ma'am.
Time
So
out.
yeah, time out. So you're saying when you meet somebody, as soon as you meet them, you're like, I'm looking for a relationship. We're gonna be in a relationship.
No, I think that most people know what they're looking for before they start dating. Some people will say, I want to get married.
Oh,
They you
See,
huh?
you got a
That's
reaction
like,
to
hello.
every
you like they
level.
I
want to
just,
get married.
I just,
You got
Run.
I
a
just,
reaction to every
Run.
level.
I just got your number. What you say? Yeah, you know
Right.
what? Here you go. Keep
Yeah,
it.
I'm with you.
Keep
Yes.
it.
That's
Keep
crazy.
But
it.
I think that
Sorry. That's
I
Here you
think
go.
that a
My
lot of
fault.
people know their motivations for dating.
They
right.
do.
I mean, I think marriage. I want to be married, but I'm not coming to you like, here's my number. I want to be
Well,
married.
no, that's not what I'm
I'm
saying.
like, oh well, sorry, I don't want your number. Keep it.
Right. That's a
Like I
different.
thought I
But
wanted your number, but here you can have it back.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sorry.
but
Stage
if
three,
you
clear.
know, if you know that I'm if like perfect example, if you're just coming out of a relationship and you just want to get to know new people, then you're not going in there talking about, you know, how this person treats their mom or, their life goals. You just want a surface level relationship.
Crazy.
And you know that going in.
But Doc, you basically talking about dating with a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
But
people.
everybody don't date with that type of purpose.
No,
Yeah, but
not
I
everybody
mean,
does. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people know before they start getting out there what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But then some people just out there willy nilly.
Yeah, there are
I mean, I
those
Like
think
this
too.
Friday
Like
night, I
there,
got
whatever
paid.
happened, happened.
Yep, I got paid. I need to go and
Good
have some
Lord.
fun. And yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yes,
very interesting.
yes,
you said it's
yes.
very interesting, Daryl.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, I think you meet people, and as you interact with them more, I think that'll dictate or direct where you're going with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it will develop
Mm-hmm.
into what it's supposed to develop into over time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't
Very
know.
appreciative.
I don't know if I go out like I'm gonna meet this girl because I'm planning to marry her. I'm gonna go out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna plan to get to know her to see if that she's even if she has characteristics that I want to even marry. Right. So
Mhm.
I think when again, it's an assessment. I'm meeting you because I definitely I would want this to, I want to go somewhere, but I'm going to meet you and I'm gonna take my time and try to feel you out and see if we even, connect like that, and this is where I can say I can stay on this or I'm gonna get off of this. This is something I want to continue with or I can get off. So in the first couple of dates, 3 or 4
Yeah.
dates, I'm assessing
Mhm.
everything at that point. And that'll, and if the dates keep going well, then we can proceed. But if they don't, then we can, we'll fall back. But I don't think I
Yeah.
go into it specifically saying I'm going to, we're gonna get married. No, I don't. I just.
Well, I'm not saying that's the idea that you have for the individual person.
I
I'm
got you.
saying you have an idea of why you want to be out.
Oh,
Why
got
you
you.
want to be
Got
out.
you.
Out on the
Got you.
prowl.
Got you.
Yeah, why you want to be out
Like,
here?
I'm like, am I walking around with rice in my pocket? No. Like,
Oh.
throw rice. Like, hey, you the one. Here you go. Throw the rice. No, I'm not doing.
But if you walking around with condoms in your pocket, you out
well,
there.
You know what your
You out with a
intentions
purpose.
are.
listen,
You out there with a purpose.
that's like wearing a seatbelt. You to protect yourself because you don't know what could happen.
At all times.
This conversation could be really good and end up in the sheets. Like you just don't know. I just want to be protected. You gotta make sure. You don't know where it's going.
So is that the same conversation like we said with the mask condoms?
Absolutely. This conversation can be really good. Like this conversation is oh my God, it's up. And then before you know it, I'm at the door, my hands up like this. It's gonna be a knock.
Oh God.
That's how it be.
So you just have to be prepared. You guys might really connect. Really connect. Really connect.
That's a super connection that could be traumatic depending on the intention.
Well, again, it could be, but there's no guarantee anyway what happens because I know people who maybe the first night had, did whatever and they ended up fine or they didn't. So there's no mathematic
Rules.
problem or there's no way. You don't know. So you're going out there to try. You're going to see what happens.
Mhm.
I hope it don't happen every time you meet somebody on the first night because that's wrong. But things do happen. Things do happen.
It happened. I mean, I've heard of couples who got together on the first night and ended up getting married.
Yes, that happens.
It happens.
It does happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's.
So how does this work for online dating? These different stages of relationships.
I don't know because I can't get past the talking stage. That's why I just got off. I didn't know how to take it from the talking stage to let's hang out. I just talk. I just like talking. So they're like, "Don't you want to hang out?" I'm like, "No, we good. Let's just keep talking." They're like, "We're not here for that."
Well,
Okay.
I'm not really into online dating, but I know
Gotcha.
somebody who is. Won't name any names. Very successful at it. I will say.
I'm sorry. Very successful in what way? Are they married?
They're married now. Again,
Okay.
but that's no
She
name.
said again.
But it's weird. You know how you date, like you talk to a few people and then try to decide which one you want to go on with.
The Bachelor.
Like the commitment is like, oh, let's talk to this and talk. Like, and you lower it down to maybe 3. And you tell them, I'm just out here, I'm just dating, I'm trying to see how this goes. And then go from there. Like you talk all the time, leave messages, do emails, different types of pics. And then if you may give them your address and show up at your house, or you just may meet somewhere out in public. That's a neutral spot.
Meet at your house.
Yeah, that's
For a date.
called.
I'm sorry.
That's called dying.
Yeah, like come to the house to you pick them up at their house, or it's better at a
mutual location. Yes.
Mutual location to try to see. Oh, let's go for coffee, hot cocoa. Let's see if the talking line is the same intensity as it is in person. With social distancing now.
Of course.
So those steps, it's just, I think you work harder doing online dating. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But I know a lot of people who have done online dating and they're married. That person. So just depends on what you're looking for. But they went into it saying, I want to be married.
Gotcha.
This is what I'm looking for, like the first conversation or second conversation.
But it doesn't, and I don't know, but can't you set your profile up for that's your intention?
Yes, you can.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody who's everybody who's coming in doesn't have to respect that. You know, they may see
True.
that, but their intentions could be a lot different. You
Right.
know, they can come in saying that, you know, oh yeah, me too, but it may not, you know, turn out that way.
Well, a lot of times they give you, they give you the options to like, swipe and not be friends with this person inside that online forum anymore if your goals
Miss
and your
Payne,
goals line up.
Miss Payne, you be
So
so confused. Really, you only date one at a time. Really, really. I tell you, people be
I don't
fronting
know.
on Facebook. People be fronting on
I guess
Facebook.
the way that I
They
thought
put
about
their best
things,
foot forward on Facebook, don't they?
the way I
I
thought
would
about
never
things,
date more than
uh,
one person at a time.
the way I was kind of raised was you're single until you're married,
You
even if you're in a
understand?
relationship.
You hear me?
So,
So we
it's
got a question.
okay.
Do the stages mesh a lot?
I think so.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think so.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think if we can lie to ourselves and feel like we're in a different stage than we are, maybe. You
Yeah.
know, we could try to force it, or I think sometimes, when you guys when kind of talking about the, you know, I want to get married, that can definitely force your hand and make you think or rush things in your head to have you at a
Mhm.
place that you guys are not
That
really at.
pressure.
Yeah, you are get that pressure on yourself. Like, I want to get married.
Because
So
maybe
Right.
that person could be for you, but you're overstepping them because they saying, I don't want to get married now.
absolutely,
Right. Right.
So
Right.
absolutely,
that's
Right.
where it messes up the thing because you have a good thing, but you just can't wait.
you
But
can't
some
wait.
people
Yep,
don't want to wait. They're like, how long have you
hmm
been talking? How
yep.
long you been dating? How long
Right.
you been going to church with me? I'm just saying.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
People rushing for a commitment. But my thing is if we're friends and I'm trying to get to know you, that is a form of commitment.
Yeah, because you committed to the communication. You
Right.
committed
I'm
to
in this thing.
responding
I'm
to your
just trying to build.
message. You committed to answering the phone call.
Right.
Like that's a level of commitment. It's not the commitment that we're gonna be in this forever, but it's just
Right.
a commitment that in this season, in this moment, I'm here. I'm present.
hmm
And then if there is, I mean, even when we talk about engagement, like the thing about it is that you have to define what these words are, what the meaning of these words are for you and your relationship, as
Yes.
opposed to what the
Yeah, true.
society and social pressures are of these different words. Because you could be out socially and somebody be like, "Oh, y'all committed," and be like, "Okay, well, I can see Camp doing this." Exactly what do you mean?
Yeah. What do you mean? I'm committed to
You know,
what
exactly.
I'm saying with you. We out having a good conversation in the middle. But what else? Okay, so when you talk about you had the question up kinda or the statement about the denial, the
Mm-hmm.
doubt, it kind of rubs me. My heart kind of sinks when a female is like, "Oh, we together."
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say he was your boyfriend, or
Right.
he said he was gonna be available for the next 6 months, and that's it, really. So
Right.
she thinking, "Oh, we're in a relationship," and he like, "I just saw Susie last night. Like we good, we cool, but ain't no relationship." I'm like,
Right.
for me, you're talking and you're playing around. That's my thing. So I think for me, you can't assume. Assumptions get you into trouble. You need to define
Oh
it. Every
yes,
relationship is
yes,
different.
Right.
So
yes.
even though I'm married, people, okay, so just think about when we met, when we dated, when we were engaged, how long we've been together, that whole thing on Facebook now. I'm like, when I thought about doing it, and I was like, dang, I wasn't really formally engaged. Our engagement looked like something totally different. So I don't know when we was engaged. We just was together and we in this thing. We had a child. We guess we gonna be together. We gonna try it out. Like, because we did long distance for 2 years. So it looked totally different. I'm starting all over. It's like we've been together for years, but I only really been with you for a year. So the
Mm-hmm.
2 years we was exclusive, but I was still hanging out, going out with people like you still knew when I was like in college and I was like at the club. So we was together, but together, I don't know. We was chilling.
But I think that the you bring up a good point in regards to the stages is arbitrary, and I just leave
Yeah.
this up here because even the stages that's here on the screen is different than the stages that Doc and I shared, because it's so many variations in regards to how it is that we define our relationship, but it's like the words. We can't get caught up on the words, and people will try to put us in a box, and you got to think outside the box. Like, it's no way that one cookie cutter way matches how it is that you define yourself in a relationship.
And that's another thing. When you said define relationships, I kind of stopped asking. When people ask me if I'm married, I was like, oh, we together. I got to stop because people feel pressured. I found this out through just different circles. Like, I'm just being me. People feel pressured to be like, oh, we engaged, we married. Don't feel pressured on my account. So, for example, somebody I knew, hi,
Hey,
somebody
Trisha.
I grew
Trisha,
up
we
with.
start at 8:00. Don't interrupt the conversation halfway
I
through.
grew up with, it was like, oh, how long you been in? Like, she was like, oh, I'm engaged. I'm like, oh, that's congratulations. How long you been engaged? Oh, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's timeline is different.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't say nothing. I just be like, girl, that's what's
And
up.
you don't know what was happening for them in those 6 years.
Right.
Like,
You don't.
somebody could have been in school, like it could have been so
Right.
medical
People
issues.
feel pressured, I think, they see everybody else around them getting married. You don't know. Them people sitting next to you, they family made them get a shotgun wedding. You just never know. So people be like, oh, they married, they got this, they got that. They moved into a new house, they doing this, they traveling, but you don't know what's really going on behind. So the pressure of the social construct of being married or engaged.
Yeah.
Or I got a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
And just because a baby is happening, don't mean to get married. Like,
Okay, and just because you have a baby don't mean he with you. He just there to support and take care of his seed.
Hopefully.
I'm just saying.
ooh,
That's my take.
we done named a whole bunch of topics. We need to just look at this segment right here so that we could play in the first 3 shows in January.
So Amber said that she's still in stage 2 with, is that Deron?
Yeah.
Almost 15 years later. That's wonderful.
Right.
That's great. So how do you make that happen?
Cause they're like they're like perfect for each other. They definitely are like they definitely complement each other well. They're what the other person isn't, the other person is. Like, they definitely are. They fill in the blanks for each other, and they just work together. Like, they just got a real working relationship where they talk about everything. It's almost sickening.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what's up.
It's almost disgusting. I don't like it.
What?
I don't like it. For this comment is
Did you hear that, Amber?
Yeah.
Girl is hating on your relationship.
She knows. I tell her all the time. That's my brother, his wife.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what time it is? Who cooking this time of night? Everybody, what you cooking at 8:00 at night?
She said she was cooking and cleaning.
Yeah.
Well, listen, she know what time. It's 8:00 every Friday. Cook and clean a little earlier. Thank you for coming out anyway. I'm only kidding.
Yeah. Yes.
I think at the end of the day, I think the big thing is we do have to you gotta work hard. You don't know how hard I work. I work hard already. I work hard.
I can see.
I work hard. Hands like this.
You know what?
So I definitely think.
But I think that's part of what I was talking about too, about cycling through. The honeymoon stage might come around. It doesn't just end.
Okay.
You have those phases where you go back, where we're falling in love all over again.
Gotcha. I never thought about that. I never thought about that. That's real.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it's like nothing should dictate, a lot of people allow the calendar and these colonized holidays to kind of dictate how it is that you celebrate. I'm sorry, my personal views coming in. I apologize.
Oh, no, I just be cracking up.
Um,
Let's go.
these holidays in which they dictate how it is, how we're supposed to celebrate and recognize our love and our relationship to other people. But it's like, really, when you become one, or you're in your family system and so forth like that, you begin to dictate and say what stage or how it is that you admire those who you care about the most. Like, that's up to you and within your household, and it's not to be disrupted by those people who don't understand. Like, it's not for others who don't live in your house and don't
Yes.
live your lifestyle. If they don't understand, you can share some education nuggets, and if they want to learn more about it, you can share that, but not to take judgment. Like, it's not for them to judge you, and you can't control whether they judge it or not. Just embrace that you uniquely live your life how you're designed.
Yeah.
And I really think, like, what I'm learning is that you really have to talk and, like I said, break down each of those. Like, if we're in a relationship, well, what does that mean? Or
What does
whatever
that
it is, you really have to break it down so you both are on the same page. So you're not thinking what a relationship means to you, and they may think whatever relationship means to them could be totally different. We have to really start talking to these people that we say we want to be with, and find out what's really going on. So we can kind of be on the same page or understand where each other are coming from.
Yes, and not wait until
directing traffic over on her side.
not wait until you need somebody to intervene.
Yes.
In what way?
Therapy.
Okay.
The police.
Word.
Dad, you went from one extreme to the other. Therapy, the police.
Well, guess what? If you're not talking in a relationship, it's probably going to be one of the two you're going to get to first.
Right.
Hopefully you're able to get the help you need instead of somebody giving you help that you may not need.
Right. Right.
So again, we have to really figure out what these things mean. I think that, like I said, there has to be more positive things we can see where relationships are and how they, good and bad of relationships, and understand that it's not all good either. That's the other thing. We look for the good, but I think for me, it's how you handle the bad that really makes a relationship to me. Because good is cool, but how do you handle it when something's going on and things aren't great? How do you handle that?
And that's actually within the next, not necessarily of the stages that's posted on the screen, but within that doubt and denial, you deal with conflict. And conflict is not necessarily always bad, but it's in that next merging and getting to know somebody. How do you deal with understanding what conflict means to you and your partner? And it's like that disagreement, that not being on the same page, and it being okay. Like you understanding that, okay, you guys disagree with this, but how do you get to the place that you compromise, which I believe somebody said earlier, and get to the place where you create balance for each other?
And oftentimes this is where couples start to figure out if they can work with each other.
Right.
Is this really going to be a partnership where we can work through problems and conflict? Because a lot of times when couples get here, they struggle. They really struggle to talk about important issues, things that might not be comfortable.
Right.
And they start sweeping things under the rug. These are some of the couples, and I say this all the time, these are some of the couples that come to you and say, we never argue. That's a red flag for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know that you're not the same person. So how can you agree on every single thing that crosses your path? Usually that means someone is not, or both of you are not being genuine and not you're not discussing these issues where you don't agree. And of course that sets your relationship up, possibly for failure. And more conflict down the line.
Well,
when things build up to the point where you can't take it anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
but you never address the issue you never address the issue in the first place.
Oh wow! So now you got so many layers to really peel back to get to the real issue.
Layers
It's gonna
of
take
dispute.
forever. Wow. Gotcha.
So I think
So y'all are all frozen and I'm not.
oh really, we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see. Yeah, you're frozen.
But I think some couples, gladly skip over this phase and just go into that everything is rosy and okay and try to move that into a serious relationship.
But people can see through the cracks.
Oh, people skip a lot of these stages to jump into a relationship. They skip 1 through 4 to jump into the relationship, and then wonder why it falls apart. Why we have so many issues? Because you just skipped everything in the beginning. You just skipped everything.
Yes. Right.
You went from honeymoon to this is a whole relationship now. And so you don't have, and I think so you don't have a good base. If you didn't build a good base, you can't build on top of a good
That's
bad
right.
base.
Sloppy
So
foundation.
if the base is bad, then whatever you build on is bound to fall, no matter how good it is.
That's right. That's right. If you have no pillars, you have no structure.
Absolutely, absolutely. No walls, and we need walls. Walls are good.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
There it is. We need walls. If it ain't no walls,
Not communicating the barriers or not being truthful, just letting that's so cute. It's cute in the beginning, but it ain't really cute. You really hate it. You despise
That's
it.
true.
They hate, but
Yes.
despise it.
That's a very important point. That is so true because a lot of times couples come in talking about things that they dislike about their partner that they thought was okay in the beginning. That was so cute. Oh, I like the way you snore and snort. Oh, that's so cute. Then you talking about, I can't stand. I want to smother him in his sleep.
And you be like, he was just being concerned. He showed up unannounced. Oh, boo, aka controlling.
AKA outside in the cold, can't answer the door.
Right?
That's what happened to me. You show up at my house unannounced, I will look at you through my ring and I'll just go back and do what I'm doing until you leave.
That's
to let you know I will never open the door if you pop up unannounced. Sorry. We're not doing that. You wasted your time.
Okay.
Because I don't do that at all. 0 times. I don't care what it was. My phone
no pop-ups for there.
No, my phone died. We'll get a better charger. And I go home. I'm busy.
You go home. I'm busy.
I might not be doing anything, but you just can't pop up like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right. No pop-up, 0 pop-ups.
That's controlling.
It might not be controlling, but it ain't. You might really want to see me, but
if
you're
they
not
keep doing it, or if they the stalker-ish. That's all.
Well, you can't let the precedent be set. You can't let them in the first time and then be like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that again.
True.
Yep, because they hit the jackpot, so they're gonna keep pulling that lever. You know, because they already hit the jackpot, so they're like, we hit it once, I'm gonna hit it again, I might hit it again, I might hit it again.
Yes.
You know, so again, whatever you allow in the beginning, you kind of going to allow in the end. You can't change in the fourth quarter. You know, you can't change once you get committed or married. Like, well, no, I really don't like. I did that because it don't work. You know,
I mean, a lot of people do that.
I know.
Yes,
they do. That's why relationships don't work. That's a problem.
But sometimes you change as a person, and you may have grown during the engagement phase.
Well, you better go backwards. Benjamin Button. You better Benjamin Button it. Grow backwards. You know, cause whatever you did in the beginning to get me, you better keep doing. Cause I like it. I don't like this. I don't like this new you. I don't know who this. Who is this?
So you're saying they can't grow at all?
No, you can grow, but I mean,
the core
certain things you did in the beginning, I hope you would keep up. I mean, I don't know, depending on what it is. I mean, I hope you would keep up. Maybe something I like, you know what I mean? Now you don't do it anymore. That's kind of weird. Like this is something that I really liked, and now you're not doing it anymore. That was a selling point.
I like how you said that.
Selling point.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Now we in sales. We selling relationships.
I mean,
Well, really, we are, right?
We are. It's an attraction, the initial
uh-huh.
attraction. You're right.
You know what I mean? So if you try and get this
people out
last
here getting
name,
their booty.
if you try and get this last name, you better keep doing what you're doing. You know?
Oh God.
You know?
And I think that in the beginning, that's the time when you can be real. Most
Yes.
people don't want to be real in the beginning, but
No.
that's when you really can.
Absolutely.
That's when you really should be.
Yes,
Absolutely. Because now
All
that's
I
the
know
your
what I'm,
time.
I
personal,
know what
all
I'm
your
getting.
everything.
Yeah. I know what I'm getting.
That's the time.
But don't they
Yes.
say they have to think about don't be giving a boyfriend or girlfriend, husband, or wife privileges in the beginning? I hear that all the time.
So this is weird to me. So I don't
I'm
know if
just
I'm
saying.
wrong, but I think that like which I don't know if like what you're kind of building off what you're getting now. That's what I'm basing what I'm going forward because I like what I'm getting now,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
But if you're holding back a lot, I don't know if I could. If I feel like you're holding back a lot, I don't know if I can progress because I don't know where it's going to go once I get married. Like, so is it going to be a whole new relationship now?
Can I have your other phone?
No.
Why?
Just can't.
Are you using it?
Yes.
Can I use your phone?
No.
That makes sense.
You know.
Mm.
My thing is, if you want to force all of that in your relationship and be honest about who you are, I feel like that's great. But a relationship can go either way,
Yeah, do
up,
it.
down, in
That's
between.
loose.
It's just a risk that you take, putting yourself out there. I don't know.
Who created this 90 days
Representative got
thing?
about 90 days. Yeah, representative got 90 days. What?
Who created this 90-day thing?
Steve Harvey.
Before it was out there
And
before
he didn't write that book though.
No, but I mean that's who brought it out to everybody. That nonsense.
Right.
90 days.
Worst
I am
book
who I am.
ever.
But I shouldn't say that either. The core is still the core.
What's the core?
I'm myself, no matter who's around.
Right.
Whether it's professional, like just the core, like of what I do, how I believe, how I treat people, like how I communicate. Communicate has grown way better. But I mean the core of what makes you you. That piece is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But that comes with, but there's also growth in there, of course.
Right.
More life experiences and things of that nature. Yes. But I just don't believe in changing who you are just because you meet somebody.
No, you should kind of be you, but I think you still have to adjust to someone else. Like
Correct. I get that piece.
can't be single you with someone else, right? Because
No,
you are single.
not like that.
Well, what I mean is who I am, right, is because I'm by myself. But when I'm with someone else, I have to also now consider that person, and I can't be. You got to consider them, I think, right? Because now you have another person to kind of worry about and things of that nature. So
But
I
you
don't
don't
know.
throw your whole self away though.
No. I mean, you should still be you, but not always you. Allow room for them. Because me is
I agree.
I'm selfish. It's for me, right? And it's about me. So I can't be as selfish if someone else is there, right? I can't
Yeah,
be.
I get you.
I can't be. So I have to open up some to allow that person in. You know. So I agree. I have to. Make sure I make room for them. For me, because I like I said, I do a lot. So if not, I'll just dominate everything. But I have to make room for them as well. So if not, they're gonna just be on the sideline. I'm gonna have a cheerleader with me, just going where I go. So for me, I know that about myself at this point. So I have to now. You know what? I can't totally be the dominant, like I'm doing this. Now I have to take a step back and allow them to do things and take their lead and do things that they like to do as well.
Yeah, not having a takeover spirit in the relationship.
Yeah, because if you let me, I will.
Because some people just dominate naturally. Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know. Hey, we can't get quiet. Talk.
Are you ready for relationships?
Who got something to say about relationships?
This is the title of our session.
Are you ready for?
So like
Yeah.
what makes you ready? Like, going back to the beginning, like what makes you ready for the stages that we covered?
Hmm.
I don't. Again,
I don't think you're ever ready. Ready. I don't know.
again, what is ready? We really have to.
Yeah, that's like having a
Every
baby.
time,
You're not
That
ever
is an
you
awesome
know,
question.
because it's funny. When you bring these, I'm reading this and I'm like, you think you know what a relationship is, then you realize you don't. When you're asked about it, you couldn't explain what a relationship is. You be like, well, it's sugar. Wait a minute. And when are you ready? You don't really know when you really think about it. Because you really don't sit down and even have these conversations with yourself sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we know we want to be married or we want kids or we want this, but we don't know what the stages or what it takes to really be that. What it takes to
right.
what is it like? What do I have to do with myself
Like
to
what's the
do it?
day-to-day process?
Yeah, we don't do that. And well, I know I don't. I don't know. Like now, I'm getting these questions like, whoa, I don't really. What is a relationship or when am I ready? 'Cause I think I'm ready all the time, but I'm really not because it ain't working out. So
I think it's an epiphany. I think it's sometimes the epiphany just comes to you like, boom, oh, we at this moment. Sometimes you don't know until it's on your doorstep. And you're like, oh, okay. Am I gonna
so
embrace this or just run away from it? You just don't know.
mm,
But then, like Daryl, what makes you fuss? I'm not gonna say mad. What makes you fuss at your family member that you say just have that great synergy?
no, not just joke. They're so cute. It's disgusting. Um, it really they are very very well matched. And even how they run their household with their three kids is just crazy. Like it's definitely it's a balancing act that they do very well. They do very well. Um, and it's this, and for them, it's their communication. They have this awesome communication where they can talk about any and everything. And it's always something I really envied about the relationships. I'm like, that's why they work. There's nothing they can't talk about. There's nothing that they can't
That's deep.
share. There's no like it's just a free relationship because they can just bring up and talk about anything. That's what's dope about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So they're one of those couples that people can look to
Yeah, make you
because
sick.
they're
Like,
doing it. They're doing it well.
it's too disgusting. That's so cute. This is disgusting. Yeah. So, but again, and it's like I know I know sometimes I have conversations with my friends like they found it and made it work, and what how did they do it? What made it just work for them like that? And it's crazy. Um, I don't know if they could write a book. Maybe it might help some people, but you know, they found it and it works and it's working well.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I think sometimes couples miss the fact that teamwork is a part of being a romantic
Yes.
couple.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. And there's no I in team
No.
at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's no I in team.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's an eye.
My pause made me think about a couple that I was working with this week, and it was like in this one decision that was made, it was an executive decision, but it was a non-inclusive decision. Like the husband didn't include the wife, and felt as if he was making an executive decision, and he was, but he didn't understand why the wife was responding, and it was just simply that he didn't include her, and that's all. That was like the larger picture. And there was some larger things that he was saying that impacted him too, but it was just like not being included was the challenge.
Was the picture.
You're
Mm-hmm.
right, and like you said, there's no I in team, but there's an I
Mm-hmm.
inside you.
Amazing.
I'm just saying, just
Oh,
putting it
but
out
there
there.
you brought up something a little bit earlier when you were talking. Could relationships okay. So the relationships that could be aren't because you said something about being matched, and sometimes couples can be unmatched to where they're missing out on the real relationship they should be having with someone else or somebody else that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Who said that?
They settled for.
No. He
I guess
talks
what was
about
in front of them.
people being matched, and I just thought about unmatched, like couples.
Mm.
Yeah, that's all. But you talk about being ready for a relationship. Sometimes you can't be ready for a real relationship because you're in something that doesn't feel good, like Doc talked about earlier.
Mhm.
And it's like what I believe I posted something like that too in the group as well, preparing for this conversation. Is like, what else are you settling for? Like, are you just really settling for different things to make it comfortable for yourself? But if you're so comfortable, are you living the life that's intended for yourself?
Right. Good Chinese.
Like when people they just need to get married for the family or whatever, they feel like it, and they go get married to someone that this may not be the right person, but they're
Right.
just doing it. They're
They
like,
married.
we're gonna do it, and
Right. I've married now.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the thing. I just always.
And Miss Payne, that was actually the thing. Like, if he makes this decision without, or what other decisions. But I think too, for this particular scenario, it was a time in their relationship where he was unable to make decisions without her. I gotta be careful. He was unable to make decisions without her. He needed her signature at a certain point, and now that he doesn't need her signature, it changes the dynamics. I said that safely, I think.
Yeah, I think so. As safe as you could.
Whew.
So yeah, but then it's also like it's like a balance. Like it shouldn't be like a tug of war, but that sounds like a balance and like a power. Like things change with the relationship. So how to balance with that now newfound, like I can make this decision even though I didn't include her. I don't need her that way. Not saying he was thinking like that, but it's kind of like I'm at that point where I can do something for our relationship or for us.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does. It does.
And when you're able to do that, that's like, oh, I feel so great about being able to do this for my partner and I, or the family and I.
Right.
So I can see where that could be a conflict, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative one, like you said.
So, like, the thing that I had posted was like, settling for someone or something means that you're accepting someone or something that's not exactly what you wanted, because you cannot have what you wanted, but you create meaningful connection in a. I mean, does this create meaningful connection in a relationship that you desire?
I mean, it could, right? I mean, if the person has some things you might like, you can focus on the things that that the person does have.
The 80-20 rule.
People have done
Yeah,
that for centuries. Look
yeah.
at, in some arranged marriages and stuff like that. People,
I mean, like I said,
they make it work.
yeah. And I guess, are you going to be 100% happy with anybody you're with? Probably not.
No.
Right.
So there's going to be that part where you always will feel like you might be missing out or something. But at the end of the day, if the person is really there for you and holding you down, and meeting most of your needs, I mean, that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day.
But sometimes what you want is not what you really need. So I think when
true.
you get what you really need, then you're like, this is like you never think about it like, oh, why I'm with this person? I never thought I would marry this person, but they're what you need, and your life is more fruitful and more peaceful, less dramatic. Like take that into account too.
Absolutely. Like, I want Megan Thee Stallion, but I probably don't need it.
But I'll take Meg the nurse.
You understand?
Her name is still Meg.
Right. It's close.
Yeah, and I think too, we have to be realistic with our standards as well.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I think
And that's where you
sometimes
come
people
to learn to dealing with conflict, like, because your standard may look different based on life experiences, because it just might.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even as far as what you are expecting from another person, sometimes people have these unrealistic expectations
Tell me about it.
from the rip, and I think our expectations have to be kind of
Mhm.
on par with who we are. You know what I mean?
Amen.
Like, oh, I want a man to come in and pay all the bills, and but
But
you
you
work
don't
out
even
at
have a job.
McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, probably is not gonna happen.
let me take a step back.
It's probably not gonna happen. I'm sorry, boo. It'll be
But I
too
think it's so much currency and other things that people bring to a relationship that is not taken into account. And currency, not necessarily cash, but currency is time. Currency is helping out with certain things that you need support in, that could really just be in daily encouragement, that matches that you don't get somewhere else. So it's like you have to really look at what, if you're using the word standard, like what brings your, and I hate to use this word because then it alludes to something else, but like what brings your yoke equal. That I know, I hate to bring that because I really don't, I don't know.
I know, I get it.
Like what brings you to a mutual playing ground? I'll say that. What brings you to a mutual playing ground that makes it where you're not settling, but you're recognizing how you have mutual currency in your relationship? What is Trisha saying?
a whole bunch.
We're not.
Right. It's a whole dissertation.
I want to say
Yeah,
what I like
novels.
about
Is she a
you,
novel writer?
but I'm verbal in that you're not it. You won't waste nobody's time, especially mine. Oh, you won't waste nobody's time, especially mine.
I know that's right, Trisha.
Hey, don't standard yourself to being alone though.
Oh wow,
Okay,
really?
don't standard yourself to being alone because nobody like, oh, you ain't meet my standard, you ain't meet my standard. 90 years old, because ain't nobody meet your standards. Again, don't
Yeah,
have your standards be like I said, make sense and where
yeah.
you at. Don't standard to another level that you're not on.
I know people with lists, and you be like, you're not even half of that. So why would you expect somebody to
You
be half of
understand?
that?
You understand that? And I think people
Or
do
you
that. They
write
stand.
yourself out of finding love,
They
or
standard themselves
I was
right out of
thinking of
relationship.
a partnership, some type of something. Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But I think it's the part about it because we always look for a template to kind of follow. And if we're not offered like that template to follow, then it's like, okay, how do we know that we're ready, as opposed to just living the moment that we're in and growing with the tools that we have, because you know what feels right.
And people, I know people are like, oh, that's my preference. But like Daryl said, your preference has got you in the corner. And when last time you had a date? Not like that. I'm just, you know,
Throwing what's out your head out to the space.
Sometimes people just, it's not all about that. People just want to have a good time and get
Hmm.
to know you. But sometimes your preferences can stand in the way. Not
Hmm.
saying you can't have standards or expectations or any of that. It's just sometimes you just never know.
Hmm.
Yeah, and part of these first few stages that we're talking about is really about accepting the differences that you see.
Hmm.
You know, because that'll tell you whether or not you can go further. If you can't accept these particular things, if there's some deal breakers in there, then no, we need to end this right now.
Right.
Right.
But if these are
Instead
some
of trying
things
to
that
fix the deal
right,
breakers and try to fix the person and saying that they're gonna do
mm-hmm,
something different. No, they telling you what they're gonna do right now.
Right.
yes,
Yes.
So,
Know
yes,
know your
so
non-negotiables.
yes, they
mm-hmm,
are. So when I talk about, okay, I have kids. I said if I ever wasn't with my husband and we moved on to somebody other relationships, I was like I couldn't date anybody with kids because when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. When I'm not with my kids, I need you to be available so we can actually date.
mm-hmm,
To me, that makes sense. I come from I love blended families. I come from one, but in terms of preferences, It's all encompassing. So when if I wouldn't be with them, I would need somebody who would have more flexibility to just get up and go versus be bogged down with kids. I already got
That's good that you know
That's
it.
real, and that's what you need to know. Absolutely.
Yes.
and that's a real.
Nothing wrong
That
with that.
isn't being funny. That's just a real life. I know my kids. Like I know how like my life looks.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be even way more encompassing if we, when my husband were together. I'm just saying, like an example. We always talk about that. Like, just probably wouldn't work out because just the dynamics of how I raise my kids. Because we both can't be unavailable, how we gonna really date? So that's just being realistic, like how the picture looks.
Yeah.
For example.
And that's good to know. Like, so you have to know these things going in,
Right.
so you don't get somewhere and now you 3 months down the road, like, well, this ain't really working because you're not available, or I have my kids on the same day, and it just
right. We got kids on the same week. Yeah,
can't do that. We can never see each other.
Yeah,
we got kids all the time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It won't work.
And then that's going to create a conflict and frustration, and you're going to be like, okay, yep, this is not going to work.
Right. So, but there are people like, you don't. Somebody was like, so I had 2 girlfriends. One girlfriend was telling the other one, you ain't found love because the person that's for you got a kid. And she was just like, that's not, I'm busy. I'm in school. I'm just starting my career. There's a level of so much I can handle on the other end. So, you know, again, you just to be open and upfront about that. Because people have different capacities at different times based on what they're doing in their life.
Yes. And that's what that getting to know you phase is all about. Learning those things. So like Trisha said, you don't waste each other's time.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, you got to start by getting to know you, right?
Well, you should.
You got to
Yes,
come in.
yes,
You got to come in, like Camp is saying, like you got to come in knowing who you are, what you can accept and what you're not going to accept, and put that line in the sand and be willing to say if it goes past that line that I'm out, you know. And you have to be, and not try to like say, well, they weren't, they kind of stepped over the line, but I'm going to no. That's not what you want, then don't do it.
Right.
And I think people really need to like sit down and find out who they are, what they want, and how they want, what they're able to give. Right? What am I able to give? And be honest about that and go into it with that. I think it'll help out everybody a lot.
Right.
And not worry about the timelines and the whispers in the ear, like, girl, you 35, you need to hurry up so you can have a baby. Don't worry about all that noise.
That's how I tell people.
She do need to hurry up.
Because it will make you settle.
35? You said 35? 35?
No. It'll make you settle, but it'll make you
settle for the worst situation.
Yeah.
That's to say you had a baby before 40.
Because you gotta hurry up.
Yeah, you got it.
I'd be telling people, you had your kids early. I said, don't do everybody different. I said I had tons of friends who had kids at 40, 42. They first one. What's the rush?
What's the rush? Okay. There's a rush. There's a rush.
You just look at purposes of a timeline. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, there need to be some timeline. I'm saying some timeline needed.
Some timeline to be shorter, you saying?
Yeah, I mean, you 45 trying to tell me you want to have your first kid. Okay. It can happen.
But see, that goes into like understanding that person's values and belief system, because it just might not be the thing for you. You know, you need to know that who you're dealing with is interested in having children.
Yes.
You need to know that, or you need to know that you're not interested in having children. You know that it's just not your journey, or that you will compromise.
And you don't go in thinking you're gonna change that person's mind. Well, he said he don't want no kids, but once I get pregnant, he gonna want these babies. Like,
nope. He told you how he felt.
Yes. Right from the beginning.
We have to believe people too. We have to believe. Like Maya said, you know, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Like
when men be saying, "My mama is number one," she really number one.
She is really.
She really number one.
So 2 months down the line, when you say. So 2 months down the line, when you want him to take you somewhere, and he like, no, I gotta go to my mama house. You better be quiet.
Right.
Yeah, because he told you she number one.
Yeah, but when women say they don't usually do this, I don't believe them. They usually do it.
Right. Right.
They
Right,
usually
I
do it.
don't. Like,
They
Yeah.
the exceptions, like
Yeah, you
how
gotta,
many times have you said that somebody is the exception?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I usually don't do this, but be a champ the first time I do it. Okay, champ.
A lot of
And
times people pre-calculate stuff anyway. So when they say they usually don't do this, they've already made their decision well
they would do
before
it.
they got into that moment to say, I don't usually do this, but
Yeah.
they snapping your tag of your car and sending it to people to let them know where they at.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Back in the days when the world was open.
But that's just a lot. I just think
Mm-hmm.
just getting to know somebody, because you could be, like I said, you could be with somebody for 10 years and don't know them. People be out here living
That's
their
true.
lives, even through COVID.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
sorry.
of course. Of
I
course.
mean, this is the reason why the Lifetime channel is the Lifetime channel.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this is the reason why, what's that other channel when you see that those episodes came from somewhere, like
I see
where,
you talking about snaps.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
You talking about snaps?
Snap.
Yes,
Oxygen?
like
Man, I
those
watched that space for
episodes and
2 years
topics come from somewhere,
in my 20s.
huh?
I said I used to watch the show every night in my 20s, my early 20s, until I started getting nightmares. I had to stop watching.
I didn't even know that Snap existed until I was traveling with a girlfriend and we were supposed to check out of the hotel and she put it on the TV and I'm like, we gotta check out, trying to follow the rules. She was so caught up in the episode that we couldn't even check out. And I'm thinking, they're gonna come, they're gonna kick us out, all of that. And she's like, no, we gotta see the end because I need to know how this ended. And she was serious.
Yeah,
Like,
Snap gets you caught up. Snap.
right. She was serious.
Yeah,
I was like,
Snap is terrible. It just
I was
put
like, are you
things in
about to
people's
go
head.
home after we leave, after having a good time, and go kill somebody? Like, I was confused
Yes, yeah.
because she was
Snap.
right. It was like she was writing notes.
Snap is from the devil himself.
Yeah, I was confused.
It's a terrible program.
But it comes from somewhere. They got to get these stories from somewhere.
Absolutely.
Maybe real life too.
Yeah.
Real life stories that happen.
Thank you, Trisha.
Thank you so very much. That's our goal.
And we appreciate you.
Yes, we appreciate
Yes,
you.
we do.
Yeah,
Yes.
most definitely. If they didn't, no, because they quit from stage one and went right to stage two.
Yes. Yes.
Yep, that's
Yes.
what happened.
And that's when you find couples talking about, I don't even know you. Well, no, you don't.
Right.
Oh,
You
here's
didn't get
another
to know
thing.
the person.
You never got to know me.
And they be like, "Oh, she's 25. Did you see her ID?"
Or they knew the person they were presenting to be. I mean,
Yes.
it's not always you. Sometimes the other person is just not letting you in.
Or they got
They're not letting you
infatuated.
know them.
They got infatuated and got distracted. They
Yeah.
got distracted with the infatuation and the curiosity that they just got distracted and didn't even consider to interrogate or learn like anything else about that person because they were able to be manipulative and conniving enough to keep you distracted long enough to make you not pay attention to their flaws.
The red flags.
The red flags and the flaws. They was like, oh, let me go. What trick is she like? Or he like, let me go do this real quick. Or have them come knocking at the door like this.
FBI report, every kind of report.
It's very difficult to kind of see red flags, especially in the honeymoon period. It's very difficult. The honeymoon period blinds you to sometimes to what I guess the reality of your situation. You're in Disney, the honeymoon flick. You're in that Disney flick at that point. Everything's magical. He found your slipper and he put it on.
And it fit.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it didn't fit, it made it fit. But and then I think once it progresses, I think you think you're somewhere you're not because of the timeline. Well, it's been 8 months or it's been a year. And we have to be something now. You're my girl now. You're my girl because we had a great honeymoon period, which lasted 8 months. Now we're gonna go right to we're committed, but we didn't really work on the little things that really sustain it. We didn't put the nails in the boards, so now it can easily fall apart because there's nothing holding it together.
Right.
Yes, we never tried to look for differences in each other. We never tried to handle a conflict together.
Yes.
We've never done anything that required some real teamwork.
Yes. I mean, I really believe that first argument is really important.
Oh yeah.
I think it's so important to get to that first argument, you know, more so than anything else, because you'll see how that person reacts to you, or you react to that person, how you guys talk to each other. That's like I tell people right now, I'm ready to get to the argument. I need to see how you're going to talk to me if I'm going to stay around, you know. A lot of yelling or whatever case, how you handle that yourself when you're upset is really important.
Right.
Yeah. Right. It's very important. If it comes down to you get the F out, you MF again.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're right. I'm going. You ain't got to tell me again.
That just made me think about another couple last week. That they had this argument and they were so caught up in the whole shenanigan of the argument that they went on this whole, like, I was like writing, say like a timeline of all of the different sequences of both perspectives of the argument, and say like if I had 10 things from each person, really after the second thing that they both said, the argument could have stopped. But they was down to like the 10th thing and so full of emotion. And I'm like, y'all could have recognized to stop each other. Y'all fed into each other. Y'all was entangled in that dance of really like sparking the argument for each other. And neither one of y'all want to take responsibility for that. Because y'all love arguing. Like that's what y'all love to do.
That's how some people find their passion.
Yeah, I said, is this foreplay for y'all? Because even y'all rehearsing it, it was on Thursday, this is Saturday. Like, it seemed like y'all ready to go get it in.
Well, you know, people, that's sometimes it's learned, and they need that conflict. Conflict is how their love language, really. You know, this is how we talk. This bickering means you care. You care enough to argue with me. That means you love me because you argue with me. This is what I seen growing up. So if you're not arguing with me, you don't love me.
Right.
Peace around the house is a problem.
Yes, for sure.
Daryl and his innuendo.
And you hearing every one of them. You catching all of them, ain't
you?
Oh, goodness.
What did I miss?
Arguing is foreplay for some people because they like to make definitely clear on that. But it was like still being able to point it out to them was you know, amazing.
Like I said, it might be the way they communicate. Arguing sometimes is how people just communicate. That's just normal. You know, it's just normal to be that way.
Oh, shit, you know what they say about the makeup session there. Hello.
Right. Well, I did, you know, because I asked real questions. So I did ask about the makeup session. They was like, oh, it's no problem there. I just had to ask, you know.
Oh, we do this to makeup. This is what we do.
I mean,
possibly. I was like, but it's an empty argument. Like, at least have something that's a real argument.
They just worry about getting to the makeup session.
Right.
Just
you left the peanut butter jar open. Did you have to top off the peanut butter again? You know, like you top off peanut butter again. Let's go upstairs. Let's go upstairs.
Right.
F you in that peanut butter.
Hey, when we go upstairs, bring the peanut butter.
Or some pineapples, whichever you choose.
Lord. You said pineapples?
Or some pineapples, you know.
Hey,
depend on what we get ready to do. The ring ones work really nice. You might have to cut them out a little bit because you know what you bring.
I had some of those yesterday. The ring pineapples. I bought some.
All right.
All right. I don't know if we got to say PG-13. Doc might give us the look.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say anything.
She like, no, go ahead, talk, go ahead.
Not,
She got real. She said, talk.
She's like,
Pineapples.
You got to cut out the center, to make sure it's the right size.
oh, you can buy them already like that.
You got to make sure it's the right size.
Got them slide down. You only
They got to slide down.
It be stuck at the top. That don't work well.
It does work well.
Not if it's stuck at the top. You got to open the hole up so you get all the way
you got
down.
to cut it, to make sure it's the right size.
That's what I'm saying. Because
I just feel like that pineapple juice might might burn.
Wait, if it burns, there's something wrong. It better not burn.
Aren't pineapples acidic?
It's a
citrus fruit. All right. So you gotta be careful not to drip it.
Not to drip it, right?
Well, yeah, you gotta watch, but I mean, it should be okay. I'll take the pain. Go ahead. Ooh, get the pineapple.
Oh my God.
It's still an aphrodisiac, so it's gonna work out really, really well.
Cinnamon.
Some whipped cream. See how we roll? Are we ready for relationships now? We ready now to put little tips at the end of the show. You gotta stay with the full show to get the tips.
Yeah, people, hey, we give them more than the tip.
But I told you, but don't forget about the cinnamon either.
Oh yes, sure.
Cinnamon for sure. You be like, what's this?
I got a license for that though. Tiffany ain't got no license. I ain't do no Jill Scott with the microphone. I got certifications for mine. I'm the new Tiffany Haddish. That's funny. Oh goodness. So party people, have we covered the first parts of the stages of relationships in our version, our urbanology version of relationships?
I believe so.
I think it's a good start.
Yeah.
I
think it's a good start.
It's a lot.
Continue it next week.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So what would be a closing comment, I guess, that we can have? I don't know. With the pineapples and cinnamons.
I was about to say, yeah, pineapples. That's my closing statement. Pineapples.
That's your closing statement, pineapples?
Pineapples.
Okay, sure. We don't get the citrus in the middle. That's all. We gotta make sure no go citrus.
Don't drip.
Okay, so I guess I'll follow your lead.
Oh,
mine is cinnamon.
There you go. Pineapple cinnamon.
Especially if you have the cinnamon candles.
Oh yeah.
Know what hit
okay, so I'm going to follow suit. I'm talking about some whipped cream.
You need some whipped cream too. Yes. Yes.
Come get this Sunday.
You said don't get
Sunday. Go get the
I'm
Sunday.
sure Miss Payne is like, I'm glad I didn't sign in tonight. She's like, I don't want to have that closing comment right there.
I'm like, hey, just bring the pineapples, whipped cream, and the cinnamon. I'll do the rest.
I have a pineapple.
Between the cinnamon and the whipped cream and help a better swallow. That's all.
Yeah, there we go. I got you.
All right, party people. Thank you all for joining our this week's Sip and Chat. And Trisha said she is glad that she's not here for the closing thing. Like, Trisha, I hope you took notes. Make sure you tell some friends to come and hang out with us. I'm sure Net is going to catch us on the replay and be sending her comments. And so thank you guys for joining us for this Friday Sip and Chat. We're going to catch you on the rescript as we continue this conversation next week and finishing up.
And also send us your topic ideas.
Yes, definitely. Because as we come into 2021, we need some relationship goals and how it is that you see yourself. But definitely send us in your ideas. All right.
All right. Good night.
I'm going.
Bye.